Hi guys, I'm back again, the author of the Interactive Algebra Workbook, here to make sure that you do not struggle on problems that look like these. The instructions are to solve by factoring. Beginning with number 1. This looks like a very simple problem, but you'd find that a lot of students make errors on this problem. Why? Let's see. Your goal is to zero out the equation. So what I'm going to do is move this 4x over by subtracting it. I then have x squared minus 4x equals 0. Then I need to factor. So I'm going to take out a GCF. I see x is doubled here and x is written with the 4. So x is a GCF. Take it out and divide it by both terms. So I only have 1x left at the first term. And here only negative 4 equals 0. Then your teacher probably went over something called the zero product property, which essentially means just take each of your factors and set them equal to 0. So we have x equals 0, and we have x minus 4 equals 0. Then solve. The first is already given, x equals 0, but the other one has not been solved, so we would add 4 over, and we have x equals 4. Now, oftentimes on tests, your teacher will ask you, what is the factored form and what are the solutions? The factored form is the x and x minus 4. The solutions are written as a solution set, 0, 4. Question 2. So again, follow the same steps. Zero out your equation. Subtract the 12 on both sides. You end up with, now I need to factor. So use one of your methods you use to factor. I like the AC method with an x. So I draw an x, and I place a and c on top by multiplying them. 6 times negative 12 is negative 72. Then b always goes in the bottom. That's negative 1. Find factors of 72 that when you add them together, you get a negative 1. 9 and 8. 9 times 8 gives you 72. Our 72 is negative and our 1 is negative, so therefore 9 needs to be negative. And negative 9 plus 8 gives me a negative 1. Now, I need to drop down my polynomial. So, with the first term, then each of my factors, minus 12 equals 0. Then I need to group my terms, factor by grouping. So I'm going to group these first two, put a plus sign, and group the last two. Lastly, take out a GCF. So x is in common, as is 3, and I have 2x minus 3. In the other group, I wanted to match this one, so I need to take out a positive 4, and I have 2x minus 3 equals 0. Then we're going to group 3x plus 4, and drop down 2x minus 3 equals 0. So we found our factored form. That is 3x plus 4 and 2x minus 3. In order to find those solutions, remember, you're going to take each of these factors and set them equal to 0. So I'll start with the first one, solve by subtracting the 4. You have 3x equals negative 4, and lastly divide by 3. And x equals negative 4 over 3. With the other one, 2x minus 3 equals 0, add 2x equals 3, and divide. X equals 3 over 2. So our solution set is negative 4 over 3, 3 over 2. Our last problem, problem 3, follows the same process. Set it equal to 0. So I'm just going to start by subtracting the 21x squared over to the right-hand side. We now have 0 equals 3x cubed plus 36x minus 21x squared. Okay, so what I really want is for this to be in standard form. So I'll put 3x cubed minus 21x squared plus 36x. Okay, next you want to take out a GCF. Always look for a GCF. So we have 0 equals, I see that 3 is in common, as is x. They each have an x, so I can divide each of them by 3x. And I have x squared minus 7x plus 12. I can then use my AC method again with the x, multiply 1 and 12, negative 7, 4 and 3, both negative. You multiply two negatives, you get a positive 12. Add them and you get a negative 7. Okay, the A value is equal to 1 here, and if you watched a previous video, you would know what that means. You can use a shortcut. The shortcut is just, so I'm going to drop down that GCF, and we're going to take each of these factors and just put x minus 4, so that's one of my factors, and the other one, x minus 3, which is the other one. Okay, keep going. So remember, we're going to set each of these factors equal to 0. So we have 3x equals 0. We're just going to divide out that 3 and x equals 0. We have x minus 4 equals 0. Add the 4 and x equals 4. And lastly, x minus 3 equals 0. Add the 3 and x equals 3. Okay, so again, hopefully you've got it by now. Factored form are all the factors after I finished factoring. So 3x, x minus 4, x minus 3. The solutions are 0, 3, 4. I hope this was helpful, guys. If you need any more assistance with mathematics, please check out my book. It is on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Thanks for watching.